Thomas Jefferson, a man of soaring intellect, unwavering idealism, and yet, a man shackled by the hypocrisy of his time. Jefferson's life is a tapestry woven with threads of brilliance and deep moral failings. He penned words that would ignite a revolution, words that would echo through the annals of history, declaring the inherent rights of man, the pursuit of liberty, and the sacred flame of freedom. His eloquence and vision laid the foundation for a new nation, a nation built on the ideals of equality and justice. Yet those very ideals were tragically, unforgivably contradicted by the reality of his life. Jefferson, the champion of liberty, was a slave owner. He built his wealth, his comfort, his very legacy on the backs of enslaved Africans. This stark contradiction between his words and actions casts a long shadow over his legacy. At Monticello, his grand estate, Jefferson lived a life of privilege and refinement, a life made possible by the labor of those he enslaved. The very hands that built his home, tended his fields, and served his family were denied the freedoms he so passionately advocated for. The lives of these enslaved individuals were marked by hardship and suffering, their humanity systematically stripped away by the institution of slavery. Jefferson's relationship with Sally Hemings, an enslaved woman, further complicates his legacy. He fathered children with Sally Hemings, a woman he owned, a woman denied the very freedoms he so eloquently espoused. This relationship, shrouded in power imbalance and exploitation, highlights the deep moral contradictions in Jefferson's life. How do we reconcile these two sides of Jefferson? How do we grapple with the monumental achievements of the man who drafted the Declaration of Independence and the moral failings of the man who perpetuated a system of brutal subjugation? It is a question that has haunted historians and citizens for generations, a question that cuts to the very heart of the American experiment. Jefferson's legacy is a mirror reflecting the complexities and contradictions of the nation he helped to create. His words inspired a revolution, yet his actions perpetuated an institution that would take a civil war to dismantle. The drafting of the Declaration of Independence was a monumental achievement, a beacon of hope and freedom, but it was also a document that failed to address the glaring injustice of slavery. Jefferson's vision of America was one of liberty and equality, yet his personal actions were in stark contrast to these ideals. Scholars have long debated how to interpret Jefferson's legacy. Some view him as a visionary who laid the groundwork for a more just society, while others see him as a deeply flawed individual whose actions undermined his lofty ideals. This debate is not just about Jefferson, but about the very nature of the American experiment. It forces us to confront the contradictions at the heart of our national identity, to grapple with the gap between our ideals and our reality. This is the story of Thomas Jefferson, a story of soaring triumphs and crushing contradictions, a story that continues to resonate powerfully, uncomfortably in the 21st century. His legacy challenges us to reflect on our own values and actions, to strive for a more just and equitable society. As we look back on Jefferson's life, we are reminded that the pursuit of liberty and justice is an ongoing struggle, one that requires us to confront our own contradictions and strive for a better future. This is the enduring legacy of Thomas Jefferson, a legacy forged in contradiction, but one that continues to inspire and challenge us today. To understand the complexities of Jefferson, one must first understand the magnitude of his contributions to the birth of a nation. His influence is woven into the very fabric of American history, and his vision helped shape the ideals that continue to guide the country today. In the crucible of revolution, Jefferson's pen became a mighty sword. His eloquence and intellect were instrumental in articulating the aspirations of a fledgling nation, yearning for freedom and self-determination. He was a young man when he drafted the Declaration of Independence, but his words possessed an almost biblical power. Jefferson's ability to distill complex ideas into compelling prose made him a key figure in the revolutionary movement.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These words, simple yet profound, encapsulated the hopes and dreams of an entire generation, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These words became the battle cry of a nation yearning to break free from the shackles of tyranny. They were a declaration of intent, a promise of a new beginning.
These words became the battle cry of a nation yearning to break free from the shackles of tyranny. They have resonated through the ages, inspiring countless movements for freedom and equality. From the battlefields of the Revolutionary War to the civil rights marches of the 1960s, Jefferson's words have been a beacon of hope and a call to action. They have resonated through the ages, inspiring countless movements for freedom and equality. The Declaration of Independence has been a touchstone for those seeking justice and human rights, not just in America, but around the world. As the third president of the United States, Jefferson oversaw a period of remarkable expansion and transformation. His presidency was marked by significant achievements that helped shape the future of the nation. He authorized the Louisiana Purchase, doubling the size of the young nation and securing its destiny as a continental power. This bold move not only expanded the nation's territory but also its potential for growth and prosperity. He championed education, believing it to be the cornerstone of a thriving republic. Jefferson understood that an informed and educated citizenry was essential for the health and longevity of a democratic society. He envisioned a nation of farmers, independent and self-reliant, living in harmony with nature. Jefferson's ideal was a country where individuals could pursue their own happiness and contribute to the common good. Jefferson's legacy as a founding father is secure. His contributions to the founding principles of the United States are undeniable, and his vision continues to inspire. His contributions to American democracy are woven into the very fabric of the nation. The principles he articulated in the Declaration of Independence have become the foundation upon which the United States was built. But even as we celebrate his achievements, we must not ignore the shadow that hangs over his legacy. Jefferson was a man of his time, and his ownership of slaves stands in stark contrast to the ideals he espoused. This contradiction forces us to grapple with the complexities of history and the imperfections of those who shaped it. Understanding Jefferson means acknowledging both his contributions and his contradictions. It means recognizing that the same man who wrote about liberty and equality also participated in a system that denied those very rights to others. As we reflect on Jefferson's legacy, we are reminded that the pursuit of a more perfect union is an ongoing journey. The ideals he helped to articulate continue to challenge us to live up to our highest aspirations. Jefferson's vision for America was one of progress and enlightenment. His words and actions have left an indelible mark on the nation, and his legacy continues to inspire future generations to strive for a better, more just society. The story of Thomas Jefferson is a reminder that the American experiment is a work in progress. It is a testament to the power of ideas and the enduring quest for freedom and equality. As we celebrate the ideals that Jefferson helped to define, we also acknowledge the work that remains. The pursuit of liberty, justice, and equality is a journey that each generation must undertake. Jefferson's legacy is a complex tapestry of triumphs and contradictions. It is a story of a man who helped to shape a nation, and whose vision continues to inspire us to reach for the highest ideals of freedom and democracy. The idyllic landscape of Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate, belies a dark and troubling truth. This estate, with its rolling hills and meticulously designed gardens, stands as a testament to Jefferson's vision and intellect. Yet, beneath this veneer of beauty lies a history marred by the suffering and exploitation of hundreds of enslaved individuals. It was here, amidst the rolling hills and meticulously designed gardens, that Jefferson enslaved hundreds of men, women, and children. These individuals were forced to labor under harsh conditions, their lives dictated by the whims of their owner. The grandeur of Monticello was built on their backs, their toil and pain woven into the very fabric of the estate. These were not abstract concepts, not statistics in a ledger, but human beings denied their most fundamental rights. Each name in Jefferson's records represents a person with hopes, dreams, and a desire for freedom. They were mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters, each with a story that has largely been forgotten by history.
Among them was Sally Hemings, a young enslaved woman who became entangled in a relationship with Jefferson that would span decades and produce 6 children. Hemings' story is particularly poignant, highlighting the complex and often contradictory nature of Jefferson's legacy. She was brought to Monticello as a child and spent her entire life under Jefferson's control. The precise nature of their relationship remains a subject of debate, but what is undeniable is the power imbalance that defined their lives. Jefferson, a man of immense power and influence, held Hemings' fate in his hands. She had no legal rights, no ability to make choices about her own life. This imbalance is a stark reminder of the inherent cruelty of the institution of slavery. Hemings had no agency, no freedom to consent or refuse. Her life was dictated by the needs and desires of her owner. The slave quarters at Monticello, though now empty, echo with the memories of those who lived and suffered there. These spaces, cramped and devoid of comfort, were a far cry from the elegance of the main house. She was trapped in a system that robbed her of her humanity. The institution of slavery was designed to dehumanize, to strip individuals of their identity and reduce them to mere property. Hemings, like so many others, was caught in this brutal system, her life and labor exploited for the benefit of others.
The story of Sally Hemings is not unique. It is a story that echoes through the annals of American history, a testament to the countless lives affected by the horrors of slavery. Hemings' experience sheds light on the broader narrative of enslaved African Americans whose contributions and sacrifices have often been overlooked. It is a story repeated countless times throughout the history of slavery in America. From the plantations of the South to the urban centers of the North, the legacy of slavery is woven into the very fabric of the nation. The images of enslaved individuals captured in photographs and documents serve as a stark reminder of this painful past. It is a story of exploitation, abuse, and the obliteration of individual dignity. The shackles and chains used to bind enslaved people are symbols of the physical and psychological torment they endured. These artifacts, though silent, speak volumes about the suffering inflicted upon generations of African Americans. And it is a story that casts a long and unsettling shadow over Jefferson's legacy. While Jefferson is celebrated for his contributions to the founding of the United States, the reality of his involvement in slavery cannot be ignored. The shadow of Monticello serves as a reminder of the complexities and contradictions of American history, urging us to confront and acknowledge the full scope of our past. Some argue that Jefferson was a product of his time, that he was simply reflecting the prevailing attitudes and beliefs of his era. Slavery, they argue, was a deeply entrenched institution, and it is unfair to judge a man by the standards of a later age.
While it is true that slavery was a pervasive evil in Jefferson's time, it is also true that there were voices of dissent. Men like John Adams and Alexander Hamilton, while flawed in their own right, recognized the inherent barbarity of slavery and advocated for its abolition. Jefferson, too, expressed moral qualms about slavery. He called it a moral depravity, a hideous blot on the nation's conscience. Yet, he never took concrete steps to dismantle the system that enriched him and that he perpetuated at Monticello.
Moral depravity, hideous blot.
The juxtaposition of Jefferson alongside John Adams highlights the differing stances of these founding fathers on the issue of slavery.